I find that a lot of people bring problems in their life, which are very avoidable problems. And they do that without really thinking through what they are doing. And they just like, okay, now I have this problem. And then, so now I've got to solve whatever the problem they have. Now their family has to deal with that because there are always repercussions. Fine, now we solved that. Now I created another problem. And so now I'm going to try to solve that problem. It's like problem after problem after problem. I see that in many people, including some folks in my family. Perhaps what I've been lucky about is I have tried to prevent the preventable problems, partly by asking, what do I actually want and why do I really want it? And this actually is very prevalent, this issue I'm describing. So I'll share one quick example. I know some of you are going to hate me for sharing this example, but it's my example. It's not going to be your example, but it's just an example. Okay. So what am I talking about? When I say people kind of create problems, right? Then they have to spend a lot of time trying to solve and unravel those problems. What's an example of that? So I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and it is, depending on traffic, 3 to 10 hours from one of the great skiing destinations in the world. Almost everybody around me loves skiing. Many of my friends and other people, like coworkers, etc. If you live in the Bay Area, you know there is this kind of pressure almost to go skiing. And people are talking at parties about, oh, we went to Tahoe and, oh, I have a cabin in Tahoe, blah, blah, blah. I've had that pressure and I've tried skiing. But in my case, now this is where, again, please just treat this as an example and don't come up with don't cite any statistics to me, please, because the statistics don't matter. The observation I have made is, okay, so what do I really want? There's this question of skiing. Oh, skiing is fun. Skiing, snowboarding, whatever. It's fun. Is it fun? I have tried it. Yes, it is fun. It's also extremely dangerous. Okay. Because you are going to break an ankle, a knee, or something else at some point. If you ski long enough, it is going to happen. It's not a guarantee, but the more you ski, the more you're raising the odds that something like that will happen. So again, you can't cite the statistics. It happens in 15% of whatever, but 15% over a lifetime is meaningful risk. At the same time, there is a big cost for me of going to ski. Right? It's the stupid drive and then putting the chains on because you got to do that. And then I don't like extreme cold either. Then I've got to schlep all this equipment around, et cetera, et cetera. For what? Big benefit, the amazing adrenaline rush and perhaps a sense of challenge, accomplishment, et cetera, whatever. I get it. But my observation was that I can get the adrenaline rush in other ways where the risk calculus is not nearly as dire. Plus, the effort is not as significant and the inconvenience is not as significant. So why don't I just get my adrenaline fix that way? Now you might ask, what is it? Well, it depends, right? There are many ways to get the adrenaline rush. Maybe one way, for instance, in my case, I love really scary roller coasters because they're not dangerous. Statistically again. And so I love that. I try to go to the roller coaster parks wherever I am because I just love it. For that, I'll buy the premium ticket so I don't have to stand in the 2-hour line for the best rides. I just walk in. What is it? $100 or $200, whatever it is. Who cares, right? I'm not going to waste 3 hours of my time waiting in line for whatever the fancy roller coaster is and only get 3 rides in a day. I'll get 11 rides in the day. And by the way, it costs much less than going skiing. Way less than going skiing. That's just one example. Maybe you like to take your car to the track, like your 911 or your Nissan GTR or whatever else. I would argue, again, not as risky as skiing. And for some people, it's not for everybody, but for some people, same amount of thrill. There are umpteen examples of this principle of, hey, why am I inviting trouble for myself? Why am I creating problems that now I have to solve? Because I know if I go skiing, I don't have great aptitude for skiing, just to be clear. So if I go skiing, I'm at even higher risk than the statistics of breaking an ankle and breaking my knee. Now, one might argue that could be a very uplifting experience. And that could be an experience that kind of, I don't know, brings about enlightenment or whatever. Maybe that accident is actually a good thing. But I'm also creating a problem for myself if I do injure my knee or I have to get knee surgery. And that problem will take many months, many quarters to resolve, maybe years to resolve, maybe decades to resolve. And that will have implications and problems for my family, etc. So in my case, I decide I'm not going to play the skiing game. I decide that when people say, oh, when did you go last? Or, oh, let's go skiing and whatever. I'm just like, no, I'm going to sit by the fireplace and sip on tea while you're ski. That's the best I can do. I'm not going to do skiing. Again, the point is not that skiing is bad. If the risk calculus makes sense for you, by all means. But my point is there are dozens, perhaps hundreds of things we do in our life where we invite problems, where the benefit is not worth it, where there is a substitute that you can get, which is equally, if not better, for you. So at least consider that.